Here is Joe Biden speaking to the press before signing the rail strike agreement passed by Congress into law. This was on Friday after the show. And at least there is a little bit of self-consciousness here that there's a problem.
And thanks to the bill Congress passed and one I'm about to sign, we've spared the country that catastrophe. At the same time, we ensured workers are going to get a historic 24% wage increase over the next 5 years, improved working conditions, and peace of mind around their health care. And look, I know this bill doesn't have paid sick leave that these rail workers and frankly every worker in America deserves. But that fight isn't over. I didn't commit we were going to stop just because we couldn't get it in this bill that we were going to stop fighting for it. I've supported paid sick leave for a long time.
All right, pause. I don't need to hear the sort of the backfilling on this. What's really annoying about this is it's as if the bill existed in nature and it just showed up on our doorstep. There were mechanisms in which to change that deal. And this could have been potentially anticipated. I don't think they anticipated the blowback they were getting, like Emma said. I don't think they anticipated that. And by the time they realized it, even if they were inclined to change the bill, they were probably afraid to do so because from a timing perspective, they would have had to rewrite that bill and get it back up there within a couple of days before the cooling off period. But
he said that specifically. He said, do not change this. Do not change this. It's going to, like Biden, when that was his posture.
Yes.
Because they were afraid of delaying it, and then it moves past the deadline, and then they're concerned about an economic shutdown. Which is bullshit. But.
Well, I mean, they certainly could have worked harder at trying to get this across. And I guess, the concern was that they weren't going to get it passed in the Senate, even if we were to take them at face value for that. This announcement could have been coupled with,
yes.
And because I was afraid that the Republicans in the Senate, I mean, this is exactly what he should have done. Because I'm afraid that the Republicans in the Senate would have torpedoed a bill that would have included a measly 7 sick days. I mean, I think at one point the union was just asking for 5 sick days, 6 days, whatever it is. We were afraid to submit this bill because it's not beyond the Republican Party to hold the American economy hostage just because they want to prevent Americans from getting paid sick leave. I am also holding up my signature on an executive order that simply gets rid of the exemption and puts the railway workers in line with the rest of the federal contractors. There should have never been an exemption in the first place. And if it was up to me, there wouldn't have been. And it's up to me, and I'm undoing that.
And I said on the campaign trail, I want to give every American 7 paid sick days and guarantee it. Just like the rest of the highly developed nations in the world, we are the only country that does not have guaranteed sick days. And this is a step in that direction. Boom. Like, this is not this is not out of left field. It's not a new problem that's cropped up. Biden ran on sick leave.
Right.
He ran on paid sick leave. So you're able to be consistent with your messaging and also look strong. Like, I'm fulfilling a campaign promise, which is going to be fewer and further between now that the Republicans have the House for the rest of his first term.
I mean, Amtrak Joe.
Yeah, this is your thing, dude.
Lunchbox Joe or whatever it was. So I don't know. Hopefully the pressure will continue and he will do this executive order, and we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I would not be shocked if they didn't do this after Congress switches over. But I guess we'll see. But there's something that just sort of like feels like their hesitancy feels not too dissimilar from the student debt stuff, which is just sort of like they think they're going to pay some type of political price or whatnot it is, and they should just do it. But this, to the extent that there's any political price, it is exclusively donor issues.
Yes.
The idea that there's a constituency out there to make sure that the railway workers don't have paid sick leave is, I just don't think that's...
And some pundits who might say that, well, this is undemocratic. He did it by executive order instead of having it passed through the Senate. Yeah.
They don't say that about the federal contracting provisions in the first place.